Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Monday, September 8th, 2025. I am Dave Biddle, very happy joined by Dan Rubin. I don't know if Dan and I were happy to wake up to 40-degree temperatures this morning. I kind of like it a little crisp, though. It's not like it's it's not like it's below 30. That's when I'll start to get a little concerned. But yeah, man, I didn't expect to wake up to 43 degrees or whatever it was.
I'll take it if the sun is shining.
Yes, exactly. It's good fall weather. It's better than last year at this time when every day it was like in the 90s.
No doubt.
My daughters play tennis, so we're out there on the concrete just frying. Good morning to everybody out there. Yes, we do cover, as Dan likes to say, we cover the national champion Buckeyes on this show, the number one team in the nation. I tell you what, I mean, they are Ohio State's now the betting favorite to win the national championship, so we'll see, man. That'd be crazy. They've never gone back-to-back in school history. Only one coach has ever won multiple national championships. That being Woody Hayes. We'll see what if Ryan Day can become even more of a legend. All right, things that we have learned about this team, things that maybe we didn't know entering the year. Now, we knew Julian Sayin was extremely accurate, but my gosh, geez, I mean, he's been so unbelievably on point, Dan. Like the Texas game, he was 13-20, but that included 4 drops, and he would have been 17-20, and then those drives would have kept going, some of those drives, and who knows what his stats would have looked like. And then a ball didn't hit the ground. This past Saturday, had the one interception. Man, 18 of 19, and it's just the way his ball placement is just special.
We discussed before the show that we were going to talk about things that maybe have surprised us, and it's fair to say when your team is this good, not that much will be surprising, but you hit one of them, and my expectations for Julian were really, really high. He has exceeded those. And I said it to you in jest on the conference call. I said to the group, remember that terrible pass he threw? Silence. No.
Nope.
Hasn't thrown it yet. And I said, even Will Howard, who, should be on everybody's Christmas card list for life, 2 or 3 times a game would throw the ball. You'd be like, don't do that. And sometimes it would work and sometimes it wouldn't. Julian seems to me he's really prepared. So let's give the coaching staff some credit here. It doesn't look like he's getting shocked by a lot of stuff he's seeing. Now, we've had 2 kind of disparate opponents in terms of quality. But
yes,
very, very, very impressive. Just very impressive. They talk about, you hear this term a lot, like the it factor or how comfortable a guy is or something. You can tell when a quarterback has happy feet and his head's bobbing around, he looks uncomfortable. And then you can tell guys who just kind of have that vibe. It's very interesting. I mean, if you see him interviewed after each game, I can already tell you what he's going to say after the next win. You know what I'm saying? The offensive line blocked great. The receivers were awesome. The defense was really good. And the coaching was even better. So he's definitely been a breath of fresh air would be probably inaccurate because the air was fine before he was there, but he certainly has met or exceeded expectations. No question.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I mean, yeah, the accuracy. Ryan Day has talked about his quick release and his accuracy, and you can see that from his high school days. But still to see that in action, it's one thing to do it in practice, one thing to do it in high school. To do that at Ohio State, especially against Texas, how accurate he was with the football. It's special, but I think the biggest thing is his poise. That's the biggest thing I've taken away. Just for a redshirt freshman, he just looks cool as a cucumber out there. I like everything about it. I like the way he kind of even the way he takes the shotgun snap. He just kind of is almost like he's just in the zone. He does a great job with play action. He sells the play action really well. Could be more impressed with Julian Sayin. All right. Running backs. I'm curious about this. A lot of people are down on James Peoples. Bo Jackson looks great. Your take on the running back situation. What do you think is going to end up happening? What have you seen so far?
Yeah, it's been interesting. I think everyone thought that Peoples would be the main guy, considering the fact that the 2 other backs we're talking about weren't on the team last year, C.J. Donaldson and Bo Jackson. It's interesting. This past game, it did look like a, I don't know how else to say it's like a showcase or hey, how do you recruit? And we just were the second half really well. Watch this guy crush someone and pick up a ball and score. Watch this guy. It was every freshman who came in there did something. As for running back long term, I don't really know. I said this on the show on What We Learned Live. If you're asking me which player I've seen so far that looked to me like the best long-term number one running back type, it's been Bo Jackson. Part of that is also if you look at Bo and James People standing next to each other. I mean, Bo's a much bigger dude, at least taller, and has that look to him. He ran beautifully, though, I will say that. He also looks like he could probably add 15 pounds of just a little bit of old man strength as he, starts paying those NIL taxes. That doesn't hurt your strength. So I think his upside is really high. He also, his senior year of high school, he was injured off and on too. So sometimes the hype maybe doesn't get around where it needs to be. I do think we somewhat take for granted in-state guys because they sometimes commit a little bit earlier. There's not as much hullabaloo around them, so there may be not as much excitement, but he was really, really impressive. I'll tell you what, it's going to be a committee. I don't see anyone getting an extreme amount of carries. I will say Donaldson looks to me, though, like if you need to line up and get after a Big Ten team in the cold and hand it to someone to smash it for like the 20 for 106 day, I think Donaldson can do that. Generally, I thought they blocked well. So, I mean, that's what it looks like to me, that you'll get a heavy dosage of the two vets, and then Bo Jackson is the man of the hour in terms of next man up. There's Brad. Happy Monday.
Got to have dogs barking on the Bucknuts Morning 5. Shout out to the late, great Dwayne Long. We even started the show talking about the weather. I had a famous meatball sub from his favorite place, Manelli's, here in town.
Pour one out.
Pour one out for Big Daddy Blues. Man, I tell you,
he would be enjoying this. If you want to know someone that would have been enjoying the last 6 months to 8 months or so, Big Daddy would be there for sure. Pour one out.
For sure. All right. This isn't a surprise because I always thought this freshman class was awesome. I was like, even though they were ranked 4th, I was like, okay. We've seen this before where Ohio State doesn't have necessarily, they don't finish with the number 1 ranking for the recruiting class, but their star ranking was, I think, the number 2 class in the nation. I love this freshman class. And Tavian St. Clair's like, he's just, we have him on ice right now. Even though he got out there, I'm glad he got a little playing time. That was really nice to see. Eventually, he's going to be a stud here. But, man, Devin Sanchez is playing a ton and looks great. I mean, Riley Pettijohn, hello. TJ Alford out there. You had Zion Grady flashing, Fahim Delane, Jarquez Carter's playing. Jarquez Carter played against Texas, which says a lot to me. The aforementioned Bo Jackson. I had heard the staff really liked Isaiah West, but then he had been banged up. Isaiah West going in the game before Sam Dixon was interesting to me. And there's an offensive lineman that, Jake Cook's going to be a good one here. I think eventually Carter Lowe's going to be a good one. I know I'm leaving guys out because some of the wide receivers, like Porter. It's just, there's so many. I just love this freshman class, and they might have been a little bit underrated, even though they're highly rated.
This goes back to my rant from a few weeks ago, Dave. These people running the Ohio State program right now know what they're doing. They have earned what I like to call the extreme benefit of the doubt. In recruiting, even at Ohio State, you don't hit on all your prospects. I don't know if anyone knew that. You just don't.
Right.
What I think what Ohio State has shown, though, is their ability to evaluate and invest in the top half of the class, which is basically what it means. That's, we talk about the NFLization and the salary cap. You can start at the top and work your way down, generally based on rankings. Looks to me like they've hit on the guys that they were investing in, which is also why we should be confident going forward. Is it going to be perfect? No. Is someone typing Ethan Onionwa's name right now? Probably. I get it. Nothing's perfect. Even though he wasn't, in terms of an investment, that's the first one everyone talks about now. But if you look at the depth chart, start to go through it and say to yourself, okay, here's who we're going to lose this year to the draft. They've got guys ready to come in at those spots. Riley Pettijohn is going to be an unbelievably good player here. I mean, I say this every time we talk about him. He just turned 18 in the last few months. He played his entire senior year of high school at 17 in Texas. Does he look like an 18-year-old out there?
Give me more guys from Texas, by the way.
Seriously?
Where's Devin Sanchez from? I mean, and like look at the last few years of the guys they've gotten from Texas as well. It's not just these guys, but yeah, Pettijohn and Sanchez are just going to be all Americans here. I know I'm not breaking news to anybody.
You can stretch few back for a while too. If you watch the NFL Sunday Ticket or the Red Zone, there's like a stretch of every day each Sunday where it's like they'll go through 5 games and every major play is made by someone on Ohio State. Yesterday,
J.K. Dobbins from Texas.
My dad was like, oh, that's not good. One of my family members texted me and was like, how about the New York Jet Buckeyes? So Josh Myers snapping the ball to Justin Fields, throwing it to either Jeremy Ruckert or Garrett Wilson. When a third of your offense all played together now.
How did Emeka Egbuka do yesterday? I know he's not
good at football.
I know Garrett Wilson from Texas. Jeff Okudah didn't make it in the NFL really, but he made it as far as paycheck wise because he was the number 3 overall pick of the draft. But yeah, Emeka not from Texas, but Emeka pretty good debut, 2 touchdowns, including the game winner. How about that? People are like, why are the Bucs taking a wide receiver in the first round? Because that was the safest pick in the draft, and look what's happening already. And Godwin's hurt for them, but Emeka, great debut. I'll tell you what, man, life is good. Life is good for the national champs.
Note to NFL teams, there aren't a lot of receivers going to be eligible for this draft better than Carnell Tate. Right. Don't make the same mistake that other teams make.
He looks like T. Higgins to me, man. The way he adjusts. He's like maybe like an inch shorter than T. Higgins. Yeah, the way he reminds me so much of T. Higgins.
And smooth and long, smooth.
Exactly, yep. Exactly. If it's in his area code, he's gonna catch it. Like, I love it. And he just the way he moves, the way he runs the routes, like
he's a pro.
He does. He looks like a seasoned veteran NFL receiver right now. Kind of like a Jackson Smith-Njigba from the state of Texas.
I mean, look at there are a lot. I mean, the Saints aren't a great team. Olave is their number 1 target. Marv, miraculously, Kyler Murray. Good Lord, I'm not looking forward to another season of watching that guy, but he managed to get the ball to Marv when he needed to, at least early. Yes, things are good if you're a receiver at Ohio State or one in the pros. I imagine those guys all get together in an establishment maybe later at night and have share a beverage, and that must be a very fun little group to be a part of.
I don't know if like your son's college basketball team has like a brother of a former Michigan receiver on or anything like that, just random. But if they do, you should probably mention how great Ohio State's wide receivers are doing and just how they could probably all afford like private jets, all of them. They wouldn't have to collect
Happy birthday. Money and buy one.
Like Garrett Wilson has his own, and Chris Olave has his own. All right.
Happy birthday to NYU point guard Carnegie Johnson, by the way. That's the recruit. His older brother, Cornelius
Johnson.
Yep.
Yeah. Dan's son plays at NYU, plays basketball at NYU, and one of his teammates is Cornelius Johnson's younger brother. So there you go.
It'll be a nasty backcourt, though.
And he likes
let bygones be bygones. He also went to Blair Academy, which is the arch rival of the Petty School where I went. So
boarding school rivalries.
Strange bedfellows. Oh yeah.
All right. I love Brandon Ennis. He's gonna have a big year. He's filling big shoes for the aforementioned Emeka Egbuka. I think he's gonna be a really good wide receiver this year for the Buckeyes. I don't want to see him returning punts though. He catches the ball. He dances. He doesn't really have the wiggle to even do that. He doesn't go north-south. Bryson Rogers gets in there and bam, immediately there's a flash. I don't know, man. It's just been like and Caleb Downs had the touchdown last year. I'd like to see him get some chances back there, but I get it though because they know to an extent I get it with Ennis because they love him. He's a captain. He works his butt off. They know he's not going to get as many balls thrown to him as normally he would because of things like Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, the best tight end room in America. So I get it. They want to get him more involved, but man, that we need more explosion from the punt returner position, in my opinion.
last question about my son. Las Vegas Buckeyes. Does NYU play anywhere out west this year? Actually, Thanksgiving, they will be playing at Cal Lutheran in Thousand Oaks. So
Wow.
We will be down one child for Thanksgiving, but that's one of the perks. It's a challenge because my wife just corrected me. We're going to be down 2 kids, by the way. My one daughter's in Spain. Ha!
He's
So
just
I have
counting sons.
I have Brad and an editor in there, which is great. We can all look forward to being edited as we go.
Maria, he's just counting the sons. You know how fathers
Exactly.
are.
My baby boy will be the man of the hour, as always. All right. I said this the other day about Tywan Malone when he missed the tackle, and I'll say it about Brandon Ennis. When you're in a game, you win 70-0, and you make a play that doesn't look great, things aren't going to be good for you possibly on Monday. That was not a good kick return. He did the classic dance. It's almost like for anyone who's ever returned punts, even for fun, there's a panic that goes through you when you can't choose a lane and your feet get kind of locked on the ground there. He doesn't also have that explosive kind of burst that you might want out of your punt returner. Now, we go with a guy back there with steady hands because we all know the most important thing about a punt return is catching the football. I will say this. I only close my eyes and I only get nervous during punts. For some reason, I hate punts. Nothing can go right during a punt for me. I mean, yes, they sometimes catch it and run it back for a bunch of yards, but that's the way for a team like Ohio State to lose, where they make up, you know what I'm saying, like a flub play like that. I get geeked out. So, yes, we'd all like to have Caleb Downs there or back there. I saw they put Jeremiah back there after a few drops. They're like, go show everyone you can really catch it. And he's like, here, watch this.
Right. And I don't need Caleb Downs back there against Graham.
I get it.
To be clear. Like once, like in big games, big moments, Indiana last. I mean, this young man, what do you have? Like 5 punt returns as a true freshman at Alabama. One of those he took to the house. So had a handful here last year. One of those he took to the house. And that Indiana game, people forget that was a relatively close game at halftime. And that punt return, I believe, happened in the third quarter and completely broke the game open. And the Buckeyes just completely rolled them for there. So yeah, it's Ohio State. I just feel like, and everything is like BIA. We want to be best in America at this. We want to be best in America at that. And I think you're completely right. I think you're on point. I think Ryan Day's, and I think he's even talked about this. I'm paraphrasing, but basically he said what you said. Like, we just want to make sure we don't fumble the punt. Again, paraphrasing. I'm like, well, how can you have this attitude about everything else? Best in America, but punt returns are just going to be, average of America. It's like, how about be aggressive there too? But we'll see.
I get it though. And that's really been, if you think back, they've been great. You can probably go back and any position on the field over the last 10 years, they've had someone great at that position. They haven't had a great punt returner since when?
I mean, I immediately said Ted Ginn, and we had one since then. Jalen Marshall was pretty. I wouldn't call him great. Jalen Marshall was good.
Ray Small. I just remember him taking one to the house.
He was supposed to, right. And everybody's like, he's going to be like Teddy. It's like, no one is Teddy. No one is Teddy. There was like Ted would be going super fast, like, wow, he's going fast. And he'd kick it into that Teddy Ginn gear. It's like, oh boy, look out. And people are like, well, he'll never make it in the NFL. 12 years later, he finally retires after just cashing in.
There's speed, and then there's, he could have been on the 4x1 team for the United States speed, and that's Ted Ginn. So,
yep. Yeah, I mean, even in the playoffs that year, I mean, Jalen Marshall had a couple of punt returns that obviously didn't take to the house, but when they won it all in 2014, he obviously had that. Speaking of Indiana, he had a kick return for a touchdown in that game. He had 3 touchdowns that game against Indiana in 2014. But even in the playoffs, Jalen Marshall had a couple of punt returns that helped flip the field for Ohio State. He was an underrated player. As soon as they went from Dontre Wilson, when Dontre got banged up and they had to Urban was forced to use Jalen as a starter, that offense kind of took off a little bit. All right. Our guy from Middletown, Jalen Marshall. All right. Where we want to go from here? Yeah, man. I mean, the offensive line, it's very interesting. I love Phillip Daniels. He's a character too. I don't know if you see his interview this last Wednesday. He is awesome. He's going to be a fan favorite if he's not already. And I was talking to somebody in the NIL community. They were they helped land both Onionwa and Daniels. They're like, yeah, we did pay a pretty price for Onionwa, but we also got Daniels. He's like, we got a better deal with Daniels. I'm like, yeah, I would think so. And you get him for 3 years. Unless he goes pro after next year. Or he could even go pro after this year. He's not going to. I love Philip Daniels, man. He's out there. We heard during camp when there was fights, Philip Daniels was always involved in the fights during camp. That's exactly what I want out of my right tackle. I want a junkyard dog. He's in there. He's got 6'5", 320. He's related to Paris Johnson. They're cousins. That's not bad. And he's just got that attitude that I love out of a right tackle.
I love the Ohio Mulligan program we have going. I'm serious.
Right.
I think this is one of the more underrated things about the program right now that's just a benefit for Ohio State. The reason Ohio State has been better than the other Big Ten teams for X number of years, if you had to name one reason, it's because the state of Ohio, now I mean the Big Ten in the classic sense, before they had teams from the West Coast in it.
Before it became Big 18.
Okay, I'm not saying that.
Right.
Generally speaking, when you say Big Ten, what everyone thought about, Ohio just produced the highest number of Division I players. Pennsylvania was in the mix for a while, has dropped off. So that's huge. Think about the guys we would have been able to go after over the years. Max Clare and Philip Daniels are great examples. These are guys who go to other schools who we did not offer. Guess who we didn't offer? Luke Kuechly. Would that have been a nice linebacker to add from Boston College? And the list is long. Don't think we don't already have a list of every freshman and sophomore who's committed to another school and is there playing, and we're now doing portal scout and looking after them. We'll have a feature on that coming up later this fall, but that's the new deal. And boy, that is great. I thought there might be an issue with Ohioans being kind of offended that they weren't offered. Turns out that offense wears off after 2 years at Purdue, and you think to yourself, you know what? I can go get paid to play Ohio State tight end,
right?
And play with a quarterback who's probably going to end up making X million dollars a year. I'm going to do that. So the Ohio Mulligan program is just a wonderful little feature they have going. And another reason why my rant from a few weeks ago, if you're feeling negative in any way about the program right now, even the recruits we're missing out on, you're probably not in a good mood generally. That's my opinion.
It could happen where a guy he wanted to be a Buckeye, he didn't get the offer. He's like, I'm not going to, even when now they want me, screw them. But you talk to Max Clare, what does he say? He's like, I was a late bloomer. He's like, I have no hard feelings with Ohio State. He's like, I would have been shocked if Ohio State recruited me, is basically what he said. Philip Daniels was like, I have no hard feelings. He's like, I thought I was going to be the next Chase Young. He wanted to be a defensive end.
Right.
I don't know if you can be a 6'5", 320 Chase Young, though. Chase Young was not 320 pounds. Now, obviously, he wasn't that big then. These guys were late bloomers. I mean, Philip Daniels went to Minnesota, redshirted, then didn't even get on the field till the end of his redshirt freshman year for the Gophers. Started the last 4 games and played well. And a lot of people are like, 4 games at Minnesota. It's like, well, he was a redshirt freshman. Minnesota's not a joke of a program. Every year, PJ Fleck has them with a winning record, which is not easy to do at Minnesota, as we've learned.
Offensive linemen from Minnesota get drafted.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. Yeah, defensive line. I'm just not seeing it, man. I mean, not the starters, but like the backup D tackles. I know it's a beating a dead horse, but I was hoping would be wrong. Oh man. So who was the first guy to go in? Backup D tackle, Tywone Malone. I'm not seeing it. He gets pushed around, misses tackles. There's one missed tackle. It's not misses tackles.
It was obvious, though.
I don't see him getting – I see Grambling guys pushing him back. It's one thing against Texas.
Grambling has a few guys now. They do have a few guys. If you listen to the broadcast, they got guys in there that at one point in time had an offer from Ohio State. Probably should have taken it. I'm not, far be it for me to get involved in your career, but yeah, I mean, let's see how it goes here. I agree. Tywone Malone, there was a lot of fanfare. He was basically Ryan Howard in high school. You know what I mean?
Right.
Power hitter. You want to go see something impressive. Go see him take cuts at Bergen Catholic, man. Holy cow.
Oh,
Talk about pitching around somebody and making sure you don't hit them. It's like, hey, why don't you plunk that guy? It's like, why don't you come up here and plunk him? I'm not doing that.
I'll plunk him with maybe a changeup,
Yeah.
so he doesn't come up here.
I'm putting 4 in the dirt. He can walk to first base. But anyway, yeah. So I thought I give Will Smith credit because he was in there on the main play that stopped Texas on 4th and 1. I can't be too fired up about the defensive line yet, considering we had to replace every dude, and they've been pretty good. I told you I watched this guy, the film guy. If you guys ever do this, he's kind of, I don't know who he's affiliated with, out of Georgia. He talked about Edric Houston and said, and he saw Edric in high school and thought he was stiff. And he's like, they've somehow developed him into a hip swivel stud. So the development is there. Both those guys look tremendous. I'm starting to get a little worried about McDonald's future here, meaning I'm hoping it might not be on Sundays soon, but I'm also, I watch these games in 2 ways. I watch them for, enjoying the Buckeyes. I also try and get a sense of the draft and who we might need to replace. And then when I watch other teams, I'm looking for who I think can have a shot at beating the Buckeyes. But if you're talking about guys in Ohio State who have kind of burst onto the scene for the NFL peeps, I would say that Caden McDonald's one of them. Arvell Reese, Jermaine Matthews, they will not be here next year. And believe me, I want them to be here, but barring some unforeseen calamity, those 2 guys will be at the bar with the other receivers I talked about, toasting to their beach houses in Lake Como and stuff. So good Lord. Arvell Reese, I mean, he is a first off the bus guy. And Jake Butt, I think he said when he watched the film, he was the best player on the field against Texas. Were there any good players on that field? Were there any pros in that game? So, I mean, good Lord.
Jake Butt does a great job.
He does.
Yeah, and we've said this before. I was like, yes, we are saying something nice about a Wolverine, but seriously, Jake Butt.
Not often.
He's not long for the Big Ten network world, I'll put it that way. Like, he's going to be, Fox National, ESPN, CBS, one of those 2. Hopefully CBS.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
yeah,
I do.
Jermaine will leave. Yeah, if I was Jermaine Matthews' agent, I would tell him, dude, you got to go pro. I would just tell him and people will say, well, what about NIL? That's for guys like with JT Tuimoloau and Jack Sawyer and Donovan Jackson, who ended up being a first-round pick, were thinking about leaving after their junior year, but they knew they weren't going to be first-round picks. Like, I had somebody ask me on the post-game podcast, what about Caleb? Like, what about Caleb now? He could come back because of NIL? He could come back. It's like, not when you're a top 10 pick.
No.
And I would say with Jermaine, maybe there's a chance because of NIL, but I think Jermaine is going to work himself into being a first-round pick.
Also, the money you get in the NFL is bigger than NIL. Do people know that? I mean, I get that people are getting paid in college. Keep in mind, when you sign a contract in the NFL, there's years on that. Your biggest contract for a great pro is not your first contract.
And it's guaranteed if you're a first rounder. And now a lot of second rounders are getting fully guaranteed. Even Quinshon, I'm glad, because it sounds like whatever happened was maybe overblown, or I don't know. Maybe the story changed. I don't know. Whatever happened, charges were dropped. I was thinking, Quinshon's probably not going to get a fully guaranteed contract because of that. Quinshon got a fully guaranteed $11.4 million contract, to your point. So you're right. So guys are making, like Oni Onwa, I believe, is making right around $1 million. I think JJ's making around $5 million. So yeah, guys are making. But when JJ is, let's say, we'll pay you $10 million to stay. Let's say something like that. After next year, JJ's going to be like, I'm going to be the number 1 overall pick of the draft. I'm going to get a lot more than $10 million. So yeah, it's just different for those guys that are going to be first round picks for sure, and even you could say early second round picks now.
Caleb Downs is going to be the highest drafted safety since when?
Yeah, I mean, geez, that's a good question. When was the last time a safety was taken?
I think Kyle Hamilton was in the teens.
He was a back.
And I think people could do it again. He would go higher.
Oh, yeah.
And sure. Downs.
Yeah.
Let's not.
So Sean Taylor, had to be somebody after Sean Taylor. This is where we need a producer, Dan. They like, hey, producer, what's your face?
Producer Google.
I'll use Google as the producer as you talk here.
There'll be a discussion of that generally. There already has been, because if you look at the people that evaluate, so they get caught like this. They evaluate the prospects on how good you are, and then they evaluate you on where you think going to be drafted. Now,
Jamal Adams.
Jamal Adams. Okay, what was
Jamal Adams was the last safety to be taken in the top 10 of the draft. Jamal Adams didn't work out well. Minka Fitzpatrick was not in the top 10.
When was Adams selected? 7th?
Jamal Adams.
The Jets.
I want to say he was like 6th or something like that. Let me look that up. Jamal, maybe he was 7th. Jamal Adams.
That said, I watched Jamal Adams in college. He was a good player. He's not Downs. Downs is the best college safety I've seen since Ed Reed.
Oh, Dante Whitner was drafted in the top 10. I almost forgot about that. Yeah.
He was 8, right?
Yeah, he was. Buffalo Bills.
Yep.
Dante Whitner left early. Not a big safety, was still a top 10 pick.
The game has changed. He was a header.
Jamal Adams, 6th overall pick of the 2017 draft out of LSU. All right. I didn't realize his father, George Adams, was also a first-round pick in the 1985 draft. George Adams. So there you go. All right. Thanks to our producer.
I know, but Caleb,
for looking that up.
Yeah. Caleb Downs' dad played for the Giants. I told you this. That's my new thing. I want guys whose parents played in the league.
Got guys who know what they're talking
Almost
about.
Invariably.
Ian Bates nailed it. Oh, Jamal Adams with 6. That's exactly right. See, Ian, I don't know if you have like a job, but if you want to be our producer, maybe we can look into it. Do you produce any experience producing a hit podcast? We like to call it a hit podcast. I think that's fair to say, isn't it, Dan?
Dave, did you enjoy the Browns handing you a game yesterday?
Oh my God, that's exactly what that was. I if I ever see that kicker, I'm gonna buy him whatever he wants, unless it's a car. I probably
that kicker's last name is spelled like an expletive when you write it in like and you can't write it, but you write it. You know what I'm saying? So like the headline in the Cleveland paper should have been like "Holy Schmidlwitz," whatever his last name was.
Right? Is he German? I don't know.
My favorite headline. I swear to God, one of the best things I've ever done in my career, and this is a digression. A kid hit a game-winning shot when I was coming up in high school sports, and his last name was Tom. His first name was Tom. Last name Krapweis, Krappweiss. He literally had a buzzer beater, and I went to the powers that be and I said, "Can I please do the headline? Holy Krapweis!"
And they said no.
No, they let me.
Oh, they let you. Nice.
They let you. And I will tell you, since that day, it's been kind of downhill. So that was awesome. Holy Krapweis. Tom Krapweis, if you're out there, big ups. Oakton High School, probably 2001, maybe. Holy Krapweis.
All right. Speaking of Holy Krapweis, I mean, Michigan, listen, Oklahoma's good. Oklahoma was underrated coming into this year. Their over-under for wins was 6.5, and I'm like, smash the over on that. John Mateer, I don't think he's going to be an NFL quarterback. That kid is a really good college quarterback. I mean, he'll probably make it in the NFL, like Riley Leonard style or whatever. He'll probably get be a late round pick. Will Howard, I mean, Will Howard's a 6th rounder. I don't see that kid because he's 6'1". Mateer, the way he runs in college is he's not going to be Josh.
I get it.
He's not gonna be able to run for 80 yards. But anyway. So with all of the caveats in place, tough environment for a true freshman. Oklahoma is underrated. Brent Venables' defense, they did a good job in the transfer portal. Dude, this guy's getting paid $10 million, Bryce Underwood. He went 9 of 24, and he made up for it with -1 rushing yard. I'm not seeing it. He does look poised. He's got great – he looks like just a physical specimen. So I understand why he was ranked as the #1 quarterback in the country, but people that thought he was going to come in as a true freshman and be like a dark horse Heisman candidate, it's like he's got a long, long way to go, especially in this offense. They don't have a lot of weapons, too. That's another thing. In his defense, I really like the running back they got from Alabama. The kid from Ohio, Marshall, I don't see it at all with him. Then you even had Haynes and Underwood going at it, and our boy Tony Alford had to break up the fight. Did you see that? Did you see Big Tony in there? See Big Tony in there breaking it up? They go Big Tony. Tony gets a little – every time I see Tony, he's had looks a little bigger. He's eating well up there. But Tony's in there breaking things up. So Michigan did not look good, man.
Not only that, let's just take this in pieces here. 1, Oklahoma tried to Cleveland Browns that game. Okay. Let's just be honest. They had 2 terrible personal foul penalties.
Yep.
And a couple other situations where they just tried to give it away. So the game did not feel as close. I never had the sense that Oklahoma wasn't in charge of that game. The play that won the game for him, where Mateer kind of slipped out of the sack and threw the dime down the right sideline. I'll tell you what, another guy on that team, their tight end, number 12, the converted linebacker for Oklahoma, is a stud. That guy's going to get drafted. Watch the Kanak. He made 2 or 3 plays in the game. I thought that were huge.
Yep.
Mateer is on the list, though, of guys that scare me in terms of if he has a great game, that's the kind of guy that can beat anybody. Now, I don't think Oklahoma would beat Ohio State, but if you're looking, like I said, if you're looking out at teams that in a certain situation could give Ohio State trouble, that's the guy, one of those guys that can do it. He can do the Baker Mayfield impression. He looked a little quicker than Baker. He runs the ball on the quarterback hold and stuff. He's got a nice little burst to him, and he's a very smart player.
He's tough. He's well put
together. He also doesn't take a lot of big hits. He's got that sense.
Yeah, when I said Riley Leonard earlier, I agree. Like obviously,
I think he's better than
Mateer's a much. I didn't mean to compare them as like that he's a carbon copy of Riley Leonard. He's a much better passer than Riley Leonard.
Much.
But he's well put together, and I don't, he's 6'1", like 220.
Yeah,
he's a really good. That was a great get by Oklahoma because he
huge.
You look at his stats at Washington State last year. He was legit. That's fantastic.
That's the textbook. I mean, we talked about this a little bit on the post game show. Oklahoma was in trouble. Like Venables was a guy they wanted to get rid of. You just go out and go to Washington, the Pac-2, and take, their offensive coordinator, their quarterback coach, and their quarterback. That's the way to do it, man. You just completely revamped your program in an off season. I mean, think about what Mateer's value is. Dude, he's worth way more than what they're paying him, considering the fact they went from being a moribund program to beating Michigan, in the national spotlight.
He's getting about $3 million. Because I know the Darian Menson went from Tulane to Duke, got $3 million.
Yeah, but
I bet Mateer got $3, maybe $4. Maybe $4. And you're right, for Oklahoma, that is nothing.
I heard 2.5, but
2.5 for Mateer? Oh wow.
It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even Mateer. No joke intended there. He's very impressive. As for Michigan, this is why you don't get into recruiting battles and overpay people, because he's not going. Ohio State's guys on the field are making the money, and everyone is comfortable with that. Let's go 3 weeks with the highest paid player on the team being a freshman and not playing great. That's just not going to play well in the locker room, okay? I don't know if that's what set off the little discussion between him and Justice Haynes. Justice Haynes is a stud. We wanted him. Yep. Son of Ron Haynes. By the way, rival. You want to go back and see some good high school highlights, go watch Caleb Downs versus Justin Haynes in high school, 2 do-it-all guys that got after it in front of like 9,000 people. Incredible Georgia high school football action. Michigan just doesn't have the explosiveness on the outside to threaten you. So, look, even if you don't hit Jeremiah Smith deep and he doesn't kill you in the game, the other teams making so many concessions to keep that from happening, it makes it easier on the quarterback. Here's my question. Would Lincoln Kienholz be the starter at Michigan right now?
No, because they're giving this kid $10 million. Would Lincoln beat him out? Probably. I mean, if it was a meritocracy, probably. But there's no way they're going to pay that kid $10 million and not play him. Although, for Larry Ellis, that's like $10 to you and me.
So I got maybe we'll put the depth of this in the boarding house, but I got a text from someone. Like I said, I have an NFL guy that I text with who has a vested interest in Ohio State, not vested, but a keen interest in it. And he said, man, I wish Ohio State could had the Michigan game early this year, because what Patricia would do to that quarterback before he gets his feet wet would be a fun thing to watch. Now we're going to get them at the end of the season when you would think he'd be much more comfortable and they've developed a way to get after it. I guess without their head coach, I think he's taking a few games off now. I don't know. It's hard to follow. But
yeah, I think I still can't believe they were just allowed to pick the games he was suspended. I always be like, if you ground your kids, you still let them go to the party on Friday, but ground it on the next Tuesday and Wednesday. It's like, how are you going to let your kid pick when his punishment kicks in and when when he's grounded? Yeah, it's ridiculous. But yeah, I think he is suspended the next 2 games.
It's the boarding school athletics approach. We all got suspended one time, and they were like, why don't you go to your spring meets and be suspended on Monday? I was like, sweet. That'll work. So that I have to see develop. I do think our defense is, and I want to knock on something here, but I'm not going to say we're bust proof, but I will say that having Caleb Downs on the field, that one thing the film guy did point out to me is like, he's never watched film and seen people's head turn more towards one player before the snap. And it's other players looking to Caleb to ask him what to do, or just to confirm that they're in the right spots. So I think there's 2 or 3 busts a game. You remember this, Dave. Ohio State, we would always give up like that one play. So, there'd be a bust. The guy would be in the wrong spot. We just seem bust proof is a stretch, but we just seem very smart on defense. Guys really do seem to be in the right spots at the right time. They tackle well. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I just feel so comfortable with the defense. I know there's worries about the pass rush. The days of just guys sitting back there and letting Nick Bosa come after them, teams don't do that anymore. They've gotten the scouting report. Now, we don't have Nick Bosa anymore. Good Lord. He was one of your stars of football last night or yesterday, like every other Buckeye. The idea of just like lining up in the 4-3 and the guy sitting back in the pocket and you getting them on 3rd and long, they're not going to sit back like that there anymore. They've learned. So we may not be the edge, have a guaranteed number top 10 draft pick there, but results speak for themselves. They really just seem so buttoned up on defense, man. Just very, very impressive. And by the way, the linebackers, Pettijohn and Alford, looked even better than I thought. It's hard to judge the other guys when they're so overmatched. Linebackers, you can really get and see them run. Like, I think that it was teaching tape. I didn't even notice that the ball came out on the tackle. I got so hyped up on Pettijohn's
Neither
tackle.
did the announcers. It was hilarious. Yeah. And they were talking about, because it was like, if you're trying to teach tackling to a young football player, watch that play. That was a textbook tackle by Riley Pettijohn. And they're talking about that. And then they're showing the replay like, oh, he also forced a fumble on the play. They saw Ohio State running off the field. Like, what's going on? Yeah, he forced a fumble on the play that you are showing right now. I tell you what, man, you're right. I mean, they do. I mean, Pettijohn looked good in the spring. Then he went to work in the summer and added like 15 pounds or something like that. He looks like a beast. Alford looks like a beast. And Caleb Downs, they call him Coach Downs for a reason, man. And when Matt Patricia calls you a pro, oh my God, talk about how smart you are. Matt Patricia knows something about being a pro, being with the Patriots for 15 years, helping them win, including 6 as D coordinator, helping them win 3 Super Bowls. He refers to Caleb Downs as one of the smartest players he's ever been around. We have Mrs. Sanchez in the chat talking about how, Caleb's like changing the plays like before the snap. Yeah, everybody's looking at Caleb like he's the coach on the field, because he is. He basically is a coach on the field. They call him Coach Downs.
And Dave, if you remember, the Patriots developed a reputation for being one, they drafted the most college graduates because they would change their defense every week based on what the opposition was doing, because they were smart enough to do that. Clearly, Patricia, I get it. You only have 20 hours a week to work with the guys. It's not like you get them in Foxborough, but man, they just seem so buttoned up and so disciplined. Now, obviously, they were Carmen, Ohio. I think they were arm in arm, Patricia and Downs, telling inside jokes to each other and chuckling. Keep in mind, they could be chuckling about, hey, I want to buy a beach house here. And he's like, nah, I like Lake Como. No, what about this? They'll be able to do that. They can do it now. Both of them.
Downs could do it now. Downs to business. Him and his brother are starting that Downs to business thing. And Downs is making a lot of money right now, as he should be. As he should. This is what your point. I mean, Ohio State pays the right guys. They pay the
for
right
play.
guys.
Keep it this way. Just pay for play. Pay for the guys who are going to play.
NIL.
If you're going to come in and play as a true freshman, you can have all the money in the world. You know how hard it is to come in and play as a true freshman at Ohio State and be good? There's like a handful of dudes who've ever really done it. And some of them did it by necessity and wouldn't have in a vacuum these days when everything's slotted out. That's another thing. People need to understand this. We may not get the second safety in the class anymore, but we're getting the first safety we want now. When you slot things out, you don't think there's going to be someone in the nation who wants to come to Ohio State and play safety at that rate, who's pretty good? Come on now. That's slotted now.
Corner. They got Devin Sanchez, and they had offered as well, the number 2, and then and then he went elsewhere. And I guarantee you, Ohio State's happy with how that worked out. Not necessarily not having offered, but having Sanchez.
They're fine, dude.
All right, I gotta get the show up for the people that are not watching it live. Didn't mean to go this long, but hey, we're in the middle of football season, so we're 1/6 of the way through the regular season. Ohio University coming to town for the big night game, 7:00. Ohio University. It's on Peacock, I believe. So
how about OU though, dude? Come on.
Telling you, man.
Beat West Virginia.
Sold out Peden Stadium. That's right. Gave Rutgers all they could handle in the opener. Parker Navarro's a good quarterback. So this is going to be Buckeyes will be fine, but Ohio University, the defending MAC champs, this will be a fun game. All right, great stuff, Dan.
Hold on a second. Big week for you too. I interrupted Dave again there. Big week for Dave. His daughter is a freshman at OU, and today is Dave's 24th wedding anniversary. Congratulations to the Fighting Biddles. Very impressive, man. I tell you what, one thing we can do at Bucknuts, and Pat Murphy has finally got on board, is stay married. You had Bill had his 40th or some huge number. I can't even calculate abacus level wedding anniversary. I'm up there. Steve's up there. So if you want some real family men to give you Ohio State information, Pat Murphy is joining the club. And then Pat's heir will, of course, take over for him after that.
After Pat told me for the first few years that I knew him, he's like, I'm never going to get married. I'm like, yeah, you will.
What do we say to that?
You're not. Once him and Sarah started dating, I'm like, he said, well, she doesn't care. I'm like, yeah, she doesn't care now. You will get married, or you'll end up regretting it. You don't want to let her get away. And he eventually put a ring on it. Yeah, man. So 24 years, you can do the math. So my wife and I were on our honeymoon. We were on a cruise when 9/11 happened. We were in Cayman Islands. Yeah, when the news came down. Yeah. 3 days after we got married. 3 days after we got married, 9/11 happened. Yep.
I was still in DC at the time. I had an employee who lived in Pentagon City, was on his balcony, and it got rocked. So, yeah, it was wild. I'll never forget this. My nephew, who's like in his 20s now, this was when I was a reporter, so I would work at night. My wife would work during the day. It was the most beautiful day, the best weather of the year in D.C. that day. And I turned to my nephew as we're watching. I'm like, you better be thankful you're 2 years old. And he looked back and said, okay. And then second deal. So that was wild. Pour one out.
When we got back, I think they had only opened the airports. I think it was only the second or third day the airports were back open. But that was definitely an interesting honeymoon. All right, but we somehow made it 24 years. We'll see if we make it to 25. It's iffy if we're going to make it to 25 next year.
Chances are good, Dave.
We made it to 24, so we'll see.
Vegas has you guys as an extreme favorite.
Oh, okay, good. That's good to know. All right, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks to all the well wishes out there from everybody in the chat. I appreciate that. I see that. So thank you very much. Thanks to Dan Rubin. Thanks to all of you. Really appreciate you guys. Hope everyone has a great day. Go Bucks.